All right, Scorpio. So, excuse me 1 second. I'm just get some water. All right, so Scorpio. We've had a lot of like interesting stuff for you guys. I think you and Taurus are in a really. I mean, Taurus I feel like is like, pardon me, like really like killing it right now with their energy. Like they're probably like feeling like, wow, I'm like creating so much, I can do so much. But whereas you guys are going, you have your South now going through your ascendant, and that's very like it's like really draining you, really giving you probably like a lot of exhaustion. It's making things like really hard to do. Like it's like you need to like learn how to take care of yourself and get rid of like the things that are slowing you down, but it could be hard to see that and that happening as well. But let's get into specifically July. Actually, give me 1 second. I feel like I'm gonna like sneeze and I'm just gonna put myself on pause so I don't embarrass myself. I did. Okay. That was gross. Nobody needed to hear that. All right, so on the 5th, we have a couple of things going on here, Scorpio risings. And again, this is for the Scorpio risings. Do watch the astrology ones for your rising sign. It will be the most relevant to what you're going through. So this is your first house ruler, Mars, and your 6th house ruler of kind of health, of day-to-day, of ill health, and work, like day-to-day work, like going into detriment in your 7th house of relationships. Excuse me. So you're gonna be a lot more focused on relationships here in the day-to-day, and it's gonna bring up, I don't know, like some like weird, it's gonna be like day-to-day, you're gonna be like all your day-to-day activities are gonna be bringing up like aspects of like, you know, thinking about maybe relationships, like wouldn't this be easier if I had somebody, or like it could even just be like friend relationships, work relationships, like they're gonna be more in focus for you guys this time. However, there's also like a certain stubbornness with Mars moving into Taurus, and something I really want to mention about Mars and Taurus that I keep bringing this up throughout all the astrology because it is pretty important and kind of a really good example of what Mars and Taurus does. So the last time Mars moved into Taurus was on the January 6th insurrection day or whatever. As you can see, like with Mars and Aries, you get all amped up, everybody's jazzed, they got their weapons, they're like, I'm gonna go, you know, take down the government. But they got there, and I'm pretty sure we still have a government. It's terrible, we still have that. They didn't overthrow it. They didn't kill any of the people they were probably trying to kill. Like none of those things happened. It's kind of like a half-assed effort. Like you come at this with an idea, and then like Mars and Taurus, it's kind of like pumping the brakes, not having the energy, not having the organization, being like, maybe never mind. So it's not really a very successful energy, but like something to remember with Mars and Taurus, to get things done, you got to keep that momentum going, and you can't just like give up and lay down. Okay, especially in terms of relationships, putting effort there. Mercury also moves into Cancer on this day. Mercury rules your 11th house and your 8th house. So your 11th house of friends, communities, you know, shared environments there, and 8th house of death, of debts, of what you owe, of other people's resources, and it's going into your 9th house of religion, of spirituality, of long distance travel, of higher education. And so you're going to be really wanting to take care of yourself in these areas because it is moving into Cancer, which is very nurturing. So nurturing these kinds of areas, focusing on your beliefs, nurturing your beliefs, your knowledge, your travel, and enjoying it more, like, and really like focusing on those areas. So on the 13th, we have the full moon going into Capricorn, and I would say go back to Scorpio. This is going to be really prevalent for you guys in terms of what happened. Like I'm bringing this up in everything, like what happened around the Capricorn new moon in Capricorn season. So like end of December through like February, we also had the Venus retrograde going on in Capricorn at the same time. So we had all this like very like detrimental, like negative energy, which doesn't really do well in Venus there, being retrograde. So what changed in your 9th house area around this time? And as well as your 3rd house, because it's hitting in both those areas. So, and how do you apply that? Like, what did you learn? How did you change? How are you applying that now? You're gonna like really know what you need to do to change certain things and to move beyond certain things and to let those things go that maybe you were experiencing then. And but you're not really gonna want to do it. It's gonna be difficult to do, but you should do it. Okay. Because again, full Capricorn is in detriment when it's in the moon. You can kind of leave the emotions behind and get what needs to be done. So on the 16th, we have the Mercury Cazimi. It's going to be really combust with the sun both in the 9th house there in Cancer. So you're going to have some realizations and clarity around 9th house topics like higher education, like anything like are things you want to learn, things you're not applying with what you believe in, etc., your belief systems, and travel. Like, you're going to have some really important realizations around then, like about and moments of clarity. You're going to figure something out with that stuff, all right, around the 16th. On the 18th, we have Venus entering Cancer. Venus is your 7th and your 12th house ruler, and it is going into your 9th house once again. We got a lot of 9th house energy for you guys this month, a lot. So it's really all about your beliefs, like again, like, where do you want to grow in terms of work? How can you do so? Maybe with higher education, what are you learning? How are you applying that? Where do you want to go? And yeah, so you're going to want to take and need to take care of other people's relationships outside yourself and other people rather than yourself. And you're going to really want to enjoy yourself again through travel, or education, creativity, doing more spiritual work, things like that. On the 19th, we have Mercury moving into Leo, and that is your 11th house ruler of communication, going into, why did I say that, communication? I wrote down weird things in my notes. Sorry, guys. I'm like looking at my notes, like, what did I write there? Your 11th house ruler of communities. I guess it probably auto-corrected. Going into your 10th house, and your 10th house is all about, your public image to the world, what you are projecting, your title, who you are, your publishing, your social media, that kind of like egocentric kind of view of like what you are to the world, what you're doing, what you're creating. And what do I want to accomplish with your career? And you're gonna want to, like, be putting yourself out there, saying it, like, just being loud and open about it. You're gonna want to, like, to have this need to be seen, to be visible, and you're gonna really want to focus there on your public image and all that kind of stuff there, about, like, what you're putting out there. So it could be like you could be making some, like, big announcements on social media and changing things up there. Maybe you're making a website. Maybe you're changing your image of what your career is, and you want to put it out there. That's going to be the time for you guys. And on the 29th, 10 days later, we get the new moon in Leo. And there's going to be a 10th house, a new beginning in your 10th house again. So there's going to be new activity, really, like, new activities with career. Like, what do you want to be? How do you want to be seen? And you can find that, like, you're wanting to be acknowledged in certain ways, and now you are starting to get acknowledged and seen in the ways you want to with work and career. It's going to be putting a lot of time and attention in this area. And at the same time, though, we have the Jupiter going retrograde in Aries on the same day. So we're going to have a really, that's going to really hit you in your 6th house there. So your beliefs, like, of, what you can accomplish and be in the day-to-day and in terms of work are going to be really, a lot of fears and a lot of questioning is going to be brought up around that area. You're going to start questioning, can I do this? Can I be this? I started this, but I don't know if I can. And it's like, you have to keep the momentum. You've got to keep the faith, keep believing in yourself. This is just kind of a crisis of belief that we will all go through. All right, so Scorpio, let's do your cards now. All right. There we go. I feel like there's a bit easier way to do this, but I haven't figured it out yet, okay? So we will soon. There's a lot of things that we're going to be doing differently moving forward. I'm supposed to be getting a mic in today as well, which will make life a lot easier. All right, so Scorpios, we are going to be using the Flux Arcana Tarot by Micah Ulrich. Feeling this for you guys right now. It's really nice. All right. Scorpio, and again, the tarot is for Scorpio's Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for July 2022. Scorpio. Oh. Scorpios. Let's look at this month ahead for you guys. Oh my lord. Okay, Scorpios. Interesting. Interesting. You guys have some interesting stuff coming up here. Let me just pull up your normal before we start talking about it. Okay. Scorpio. All right, interesting. There's definitely some interesting stuff going on here. All right, Scorpios. So, beginning of the month, we're starting out really nice. We have the Six of Wands, which is like a really nice like winter card. We got it going on. Things are looking good when we get there. All right. Six of Wands is really a success. People are acknowledging your success, like looking successful out into the world. So at this time, beginning of July, you could be feeling like on top of the world with what you got accomplished. Like, look at me. I just feel like you have a lot of like stuff going well in terms of work, in terms of the day-to-day. Like, it feels like you guys really feel that you're killing it right now, and you are. With the Six of Wands, that's a lot of winning, a lot of success, a lot of happiness and joy, and people celebrating you. And at the end of the month, though, we have the Six of Cups coming up here, so we're gonna get there. That's a really interesting thing. Like, the way he is running at it, it's almost like, well, the Six of Cups represents nostalgia, past relationships, and maybe wanting so bad. It's like, with especially with the way he's running with the crown falling off, I always see this as kind of like rushing too fast to a past. It's like, why are you rushing to the past? Like, that doesn't really make any sense. We're gonna get there. It could also just be that you're kind of feeling like yourself again, or coming back to a different situation. But and I do think that you guys are going to be revisiting some past situations here this month, it looks like. But again, that won't resonate with all of you. Ten of Wands and the Ace of Swords will come up right away. So I feel this as needing, it's needing to make a decision about how much you're carrying. You are really weighed down. You're really exhausted. You've been doing too much with the Ten of Wands. It's like, I've got too much I'm doing for everybody else. Like, everybody keeps dumping this on me and dumping that on me. Now another thing and now this. And it's starting to feel like this is just too much for you to carry. And with the Ace of Swords, I always see this as kind of a moment of clarity. And again, I feel like we have the Mercury Kazemi this month, and I really feel like that is going to be a moment of really figuring a lot of things out for you guys, as well as for like everybody. But for you guys, it's going to really help you see a lot more in terms of like realizing something about what you believe in, who you are, what you want to do, in a more spiritual sense. It's kind of like you need to remove some things to align yourself more intrinsically. And that doesn't even mean like you're like religious or really spiritual in that way, but like you have to reconnect with yourself and feel better in that kind of sense. And you're not able to do so until you start removing some of the weight that you have on you and some of the things that you're doing. After that, we have the High Priestess and the Four of Swords. And I feel like this to me immediately speaks to, like, especially in combination with what you have there, it's like if you want breakthroughs, you want to figure things out, you feel like there's like more like that you need to have coming through right now, like you need to figure something out and you can't really do it, or you can't really suss out this weird feeling that you're getting, you're going to need to rest. Resting is really important, especially with that Ten of Wands showing up like that and showing up, upright. Like, we're going to have to make a decision about making room for time to... Because the High Priestess is all about like taking time in terms of like meditating or connecting with your higher self. It's something that you intrinsically know, your inner knowing, like, whatever you want to call her. She's like that magical aspect of yourself, whereas I like to call it the higher self. And if you want to connect with your higher self, you're going to have to take time out to rest and, connect more spiritually so you can grow in these ways. Because there's a lot more in terms of your beliefs and who you are and what you feel attached to in terms of your beliefs. And again, I'm saying beliefs and spirituality in that kind of sense, but it doesn't have to be that way. It could just be like, it could even be like you're switching like political beliefs or something like that, but like your beliefs are changing and what you believe in, how you associate with certain topics of like, of that, it needs to be shifted, and you need to allow it to, and you can only do so and only see from a different perspective when you take that time out to rest, okay? So I also kind of get here, and then we get the Two of Cups, which is interesting, with the Two of Wands reversed. And it's like you have a really strange combination here with the Two of Cups. And then when I started looking at this love situation more, it really looked weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is like a weird, I'm trying to suss out what the hell is going on here, and it's very strange. For some of you, I feel like this is a hard topic to cover, because I feel like, and this isn't going to resonate with all Scorpios, but it's something that like is coming through really strong and I can't like deny. A love situation that you're in is not... you may have seen a future with this before, but like, and there is love there with the Two of Cups. Like the Two of Cups is there and it's upright. But what comes after with the Two of Wands reversed is very concerning to me, because that doesn't really show that we really have like a way forward. We're not really prospecting a future here. Yes, there's love, there's connection, we care about each other. But with the Two of Wands reversed, I'm feeling like some of you are really questioning whether you can see a future with this person and with this situation or whatever it is that you're doing right now in terms of a relationship. It's like, is there really a future here? Because I'm not really seeing it now. I'm not really able to prospect like where this is going. I'm not really seeing, like, no matter how I try to plan this out, no matter how I sit down and think about it, something just doesn't feel like it's moving forward in the way that I want it to, or like it's not right. And then you kind of get the Five of Swords and the Hierophant. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, like, there's going to be some really, again, like with that Mercury Cazimi, there's clarity there. That is a moment of clarity with figuring something out. And I feel like in terms of your beliefs and who you are and what you need in terms of relationships, that is going to be a point of contention maybe with other people, but you have to be true to yourself. I feel like this month is going to be a month, especially when we start getting into that Leo energy, where we absolutely must be open and honest about what we need, and what we need in relationships is very important. And it's like hiding that and acting like we don't need this, or that we can like work through this, like we're not being open and communicative and honest. You need to be honest, okay? And I love Scorpios, and I just feel like sometimes you guys would rather not be honest and be quiet about something than take care of something that needs to be taken care of, or have that kind of communication. Like, it's like, yeah, you feel like this is wrong, but then why aren't you communicating about it? Why aren't you going to do something about it? Why aren't you trying to? And you really need to here, because I feel like there is an issue here with something very traditional. For those of you that are in relationships or marriages, long-term relationships, whatever this might be, it feels like there's this very traditional aspect here. I mean, it could be that like you're having like there's a Taurus of somewhere involved in this conflict with the Hierophant here, but I just feel like this is more of like a point of contention with maybe even marriage and traditional values in this way. And I feel like a lot of people are coming up against that right now, and that is okay. Things are changing. You can't have expected people to stick with these same bizarre marital and relationship values and traditional values that have like family values, like whatever it is that you're trying to like be like, oh, I'll be happy when I'm married and I have kids and I, you know, have this like perfect little life that they tell me we all need to be happy and to be like a successful and happy member of society. It's like a lot of people are realizing, you know what, actually that doesn't make any fucking sense to me, and like this doesn't actually do anything for me. Like, this isn't what I want with my life. Maybe I don't want to be married. Maybe I don't want to have kids. Maybe I want to have multiple partners, and that's okay. But it's like, if you're not communicating that you're having dysfunction here with the Five of Swords, like, it feels more like it's very internal, and the way that you're communicating it, if you are at all, it's not coming across well, because you're not just being upfront and honest about it. Okay, so just be upfront and honest. Like, if you have some type of situation or contention here, I just feel like there's going to be a fight here with a partner, a prospective partner, a long-term partner, about aspects of traditional relationship. And I feel like for some of you, it might be that you just like want to, it could even be like you just want to do other things, like you want to see other people, and you're no longer seeing a future with this relationship. Ooh. You need advice. First of all, if you are having an issue with this, go to a friend that can give you sound, upfront, and straightforward advice. Don't go to the friend who's going to make you feel good about this. Come on, Scorpios. You guys can handle a hard truth. So, like, just take the hard truth. Talk to the friend that will give you the hard truth, because you need that right now. You really need the support of other people. Because whatever this issue is, it's like you have... There's a word for this, and I can't think of what it is. It's like you have to put this, like you have processed this at such a deep level and not spoken about it to other people, because you're afraid of how they will judge you, how they'll see you, what it might be, that you haven't really talked about this with the right people. So it's not going to make sense when you say this out loud, especially if you're going to say it out loud to the person, unless you have really unless you're really going to be honest. You just got to be either be upfront and honest, or not at all. Like, you got to go talk to somebody for advice on this, and I'm sure what they're going to tell you is be honest about your needs. Like, this month, especially with all this Cancerian energy, it would be insane for you to ignore what your needs are. You need to pay attention to what your needs are this month. And especially if you're in a long-term relationship or partnership, it's like if your needs are not being met, and you have these needs that you are afraid to even communicate or say, like, this is what I actually think I need to be happy, or this is actually what I think I need, like, I don't think it can provide that, then you're going to get stuck. And I say that because, I'm going to let this go. Yes, there we go. Where did it go? Oh, for some reason I put it right there. Isn't the Four of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. Holding on to this is only going to make you feel insane. It's like this is all in your head, yes, but it's like because you put it there. Because you're holding so tight. Because when you get the Four of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords in the combination, like, you're afraid to let this go because you're afraid of what people will say. You're afraid of the reaction. You're afraid, whatever it is, there's a fear-based need for you to hold on to this so tightly. And I don't know if it's because you're afraid you'll never find this again, or you're not going, whatever you're stepping out of this is going to leave you vulnerable to, like, never finding love again, or, you know, this person's going to leave you. And it's like, if they're going to leave you because you were honest with you about your needs, then it was never going to work out in the first place. And you have to be okay with that. Like, you have to be okay with the fact that not everybody can be together forever. It's okay. It is okay. All right. There's, like, millions of people and we're not made monogamously. So I just think, like, it's a really hard concept for a lot of people, but you have to be okay with that. And you have to be okay with communicating what you need, or else it will eat away at you until something really bad happens within this situation, and eventually it'll be much worse than it ever needed to be, right? So again, with that Five of Swords, that Hierophant, after that we get the Seven of Swords reversed and the King of Wands. And again, I feel like Leo season is going to make you reveal, like, what you need in a really big way. I don't think it's going to be great for a lot of people. I think for some of you, it could help you reconnect and, like, bring back, like, this aspect of your relationship that you haven't had before, this passion, this whatever, because you're deciding to finally be upfront. But it's, I think for a lot of you, it's like you're going to try to run back to somebody who makes you feel safe in this space. And that's okay, too, if you want to feel safe and you want to feel heard. But in general, like, there's something that you have to communicate this month in terms of a relationship that you are clearly very afraid to communicate. And you're very afraid. It's like, also, like, why did I start moving forward in this direction when I wasn't ready? Like, for some of you, it's almost like you're moving in with somebody, you're getting married to somebody, and you're starting to second guess it because you're like, well, am I this person anymore? Is what they need and what I need the same? Will it work out because of that, or will it not work out? It's like, you have to ask, this card, okay, yeah. But I think, like, yeah, Ten of Swords hurts. It does hurt. There is probably going to be, it's either, again, like, you're looking back on a very painful ending and you're afraid that that's going to happen again, and you're like, I don't want to go through that again, though. It's like, okay, well, like, holding on to this is just going to make you empty inside. And to me, I don't know, staying in something where you're not having your needs met and the other person doesn't know that as well, it's like, it creates this whole different type of dichotomy within the relationship, and this whole different, like, set of, it's just, it's not going to work out. Like, if you're not communicating this, it eventually will blow up. Like, I just don't know what else to say other than, like, this is what's coming. If you're not willing to deal with this at this time. And if you're not willing to deal with this in general, it's like, you have to accept sometimes, like, especially as a Scorpio, it's like, you have to accept that endings are inevitable. 99% of relationships don't work. Okay? I'm sorry. Like, it's just the truth. Like, I know that sounds really harsh and cold, but, like, it's just the truth. 1% of them will, and that'll be okay. That'll be your person, whatever. But it's just like, there's so, and maybe that's not even like a real percentage, but it's like, if you're looking for the one, then yeah, 99% aren't going to work, and you're going to have to go through a lot more people, and it's not like you can just jump from one thing to the other and expect that to be like it. Like, you have to spend time figuring out what it is that you need, instead of taking on what the other person's needs are and saying that it's okay and you can change and that this is different. It's like, eventually this stuff is coming back up again. I think, again, the Venus retrograde, go back to what was going on then, because I think that this sounds very similar to actually what we were talking about with you guys then. But there's a need that you have to be honest about this, okay? I do feel like if you feel like the relationship isn't working and you don't see the future that you want with this person, and things are just not, they're not who you want to be with, it's okay. Like, you just have to accept that and move forward, though. All right? Okay? Six of Swords is here. Like, I feel like if you decide to go forward, if you decide to move on, you put yourself in this position of justice. It's like you have to look at things for what they are and take the emotion out, okay? And that's really important, I think, and that's really what we got to talk about right here is like, you got to remove the emotion out of this and the hurt and like just accept it. Like sometimes things don't work out and you have to be the one to have the conversation, to bring it up and to say what needs to be said. But in the end, I do think you'll be a lot happier because it will leave room for a relationship or a situation that will fit you so much better. So don't get stuck in the nostalgia. It's like, oh my God, it's like, this is like if I made like a How I Met Your Mother reference, but it's like the graduation goggles effect is kind of what you're experiencing this month. Like, you know something needs to end, but you're in so deep, and you're starting to remember all like I will remember you. Like, you're remembering like all like the good little times, all that stuff, and it's like, is that really like what can carry a relationship? Is like remembering the good times instead of what it is now? Like, you have to be willing to communicate this, and I don't think that you will in Cancer season. But I think it's like very much of, you're not communicating that you're riding two horses with one ass, and it will eventually tear you asunder. But that's kind of what we're getting to by the end of July, is like the need to have this conversation and talk about this. But just don't, again, get stuck up with the graduation goggles and all that stuff, all right? Because, again, Chariot with the Page of Swords reversed to me indicates that, like, we're riding two horses with one ass. We're not communicating something. Like, our goals are not aligned. What we need is not aligned, and yet we're not communicating about it. We can see it with the Page of Swords reversed, but we're not going to say anything, even though we need to. So my advice to you would to be to figure this out and be really open and honest, like, with what you actually need and if you see a future with this or not. Because I think that that's going to be really important for you guys. And in terms of work and career, I just feel like, especially in terms of the astrology, like, you're cooking. Like, you're out there. Don't lose confidence in yourself. It really feels like you've made a huge step there. Yeah, King of Pentacles. You're on the road to really make some long-term success, money, and stability. And I feel like this came up, like, I don't really even want to talk about this as much because I think it's, like, less prevalent than the other messages that have come out. We've already talked about, but you have a lot of really big and exciting moments in terms of career for you guys right now. Don't let your fears rule you in this situation, okay? Because the world, it's like you have a new chapter coming up, and it's like things are coming together in this really beautiful way in terms of career and work and money for you. Don't let all this other stuff get in the way of it. And also don't let the fears get in the way. When Jupiter goes retrograde at the end of the month, like, don't start doubting yourself and your abilities and all that stuff. Sorry, it's getting really hot. I'm gonna have to turn on AC again. But Scorpios, let's pull some oracles. I'm gonna be done with you guys. I need to start being a little faster with these. Oh my gosh, I've been like a little too slow and relaxed with Libra and Scorpio. One at a time. Scorpio Sun. Yes. These messages for July. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Weird. Really weird. I mean, for those of you who are getting married, it's kind of like getting married and going on a honeymoon, but like, I don't know, it really isn't like the vibe I'm picking up on right now. This situation does involve marriage, it looks like, and then we get the retreat, and they're also like in this like marriage thing. So I think for some of you, like I said, some of you could be getting cold feet in like a really big commitment situation, Scorpio, or starting to get worried. Or some of you could really just like be, you know, planning your honeymoon or planning your wedding and starting to like have some issues there. Like, and again, it's like, if you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, like, you really gotta fucking be able to get along with them. You really gotta spend some time there, because otherwise, like, I cannot understand people who are just like, I'm just gonna get married. Like, you don't have to in the first place. First of all, like, why do we even do this shit? It's so stupid. Anyways, but whatever. It's whatever. I won't get into my ideas of marriage and how much of a waste of money and stupidity I think it all is when you can just do it really easily and simply. And also, it's a forever thing, so you should probably not take it so lightly. And people just take this shit lightly. They're like, I've been dating for like 9 months, 1 year, time to get married. I'm like, you don't, whatever. So I think for some of you guys, you might be hitting that point where you're like, oh, I rush into something that I need more time on. Or you have like traditional values, marriage and stuff really on the mind right now, and you need to take a step back and really assess like how you feel about that, what your relationship is to that, okay? And that's really what I get there with these cards. I'm sorry, I'm just like looking down at them. If like I'm looking this way, it's because my table is right here. But all right, Scorpio. Oh my gosh. I actually don't know if I pulled one of these for Libra. I feel bad now. I'm going to pull a power deck card for you guys. I don't remember, I got distracted at the end of Libra. One at a time. Scorpio, messages for Scorpios. This one feels it, enduring. All right, take a stone in your hand and meditate on it, or use the stone surface on the the stone surface pictured on the card. Go into the stone, experience her quiet soul. The stone welcomes your visit. Let her experience the inside of your heart. See how you are each an enduring mirror for the other. You are everywhere, mirroring everything. The stone absorbs you, and you absorb the stone. How can you be alone if you are part of everything? You are the totality of enduring existence. Therefore, nothing in existence can upset you. So, I kind of feel like you guys need to do that though. Meditate. Take a good meditation. Talk to a solid, stable friend that like can tell you the truth. Can tell like so you need to heed. I think like I think a lot of fixed signs actually in general just have a hard time listening to other people's advice. This is a time for you to listen to others' advice because you're not seeing this situation clearly, Scorpio, and you need help. Because I think you're vacillating so much on this, and you're so messy about this, and like you're in too deep, and you're wrapped up too deep in like how this looks to everybody else, and how much time and energy and money, and you're wrapped up in all the wrong things about this when you need to think about the happiness aspect. And if this doesn't feel right, like you can't ignore it forever. All right, whatever this might be. But in terms of work, like keep killing it. Like you guys are doing great in terms of work. It's like you're finally out there. Like you can start reaching for new things, but don't be afraid to do so. All right, and do have faith in yourself. All right, Scorpios, that is you guys for the month there.